Hello, everybody. I'm Chris. This is my sis.
Hey, I am Jules. I can't do that
You
accent.
check it out. It's okay.
Yeah, I can't do that.
Disclaimer.
Disclaimer, these are the inner workings of our minds. We are not professionals. We are just sharing our journeys.
And today, our journey has led us to discuss a little bit about self-awareness and what was the other thing? Self-awareness and
For me, it's just having patience with the progress on your journey.
patience with progress in your journey. Right. That means just kind of allowing yourself to feel things out and sit through things and not be
rushing.
so rushed. Yeah, just because you're kind of sometimes doesn't mean you have to be in a big hurry not to be, can't feel that stuff out.
Sometimes it's okay to just sit there and be
It's good. We've hit on this a little bit recently, actually, but digging a little bit more into the self-awareness portion, where it's not bad emotion to just understand what you're going through and to have, you don't have to have all the answers, but it's good to know where you're at and take that realistic self-talk. You can feel it most of the time deep inside of you, and mine kind of feels like a ball sometimes, like in your chest, when there's something that you haven't really got to that you need to talk to yourself about. And I thoroughly believe self-talk is the most important, but
your solar plexus chakra.
Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Solar plexus, yeah. For sure.
The strength. That's where, derive.
I know sometimes I feel like I've got it figured out. I'm like, yeah, I got this. And then something may hit me, something may trigger me, and then I'm like, oh, I didn't know.
All over again.
Oh, I don't got this.
But that's okay. That's part of it, man. It's a learning and experience and growth. They're roller coasters, and that's just how it goes.
The less that you accept that and you stop shaming yourself for not getting it right away, that's where I used to struggle, but now I'm like, you don't have it yet. It's okay.
That's where the fun actually starts, man, because you start to just kind of understand that these are just the phases of life. Most things do work in cycles. So as long as you're used to cycles and you understand your own cycle, you become a lot better at just, allowing that to happen, not taking things so seriously, not taking things so to heart, I'll have days where I just kind of mess up sometimes. And, I punish myself more than anybody else in the world ever could punish me. And if you get kind of a little better at accepting your wrongs, accepting that you're human, and just being aware of, where you're at and what you want to do, and growing from those experiences and being a better person, makes it not near as bad.
It's interesting what you say about cycles, because I notice, so I have a Spotify account, Lemma Spotify.
YouTube Premium.
But what I've noticed is I have a playlist for every season or cycle that I go through. And those certain songs are what I was heavily feeling at that time. And whenever I feel like, that cycle's complete, I don't really connect with this music anymore, I start my next playlist. And it's just a constant going. And then what's cool is whenever I feel like I'm falling back into those old energies that I was feeling at the time, I'll go back to that playlist and I'll have something that can help comfort me, the songs that I need to help bring me out of it.
Not only that, but then you think of new things that you've learned since the last time you listened to that playlist. And it's always awesome having that discovery, because that really makes everything a lot worth it.
Sure.
Makes the whole journey worth it. You're like, oh, this is totally working. I really am doing things for myself, and it's pretty awesome.
It really is all about the journey. I know that we all have goals, we all have places we want to be, things we want to do, but, at the end of all of this, straight up, someday we're all going to die. Hard hit, there it is. Someday we all are going to die. And why not enjoy the journey? Why not enjoy where you're at in the moment? Each part of your life, there's something that you can look at and make it good. I like to romanticize my life a little bit. Today was supposed to be a day off, but I got called in to do some work, and I'm like, heck yeah, cool. I get to go, go to work. And then I had a 2 to 3 hour break in between, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to go sit at Trail of Tears for a little bit and look at the pretty trees and look at the Mississippi River.
Very nice.
And the entire way there, I'm playing my good music, and I'm just vibing, and,
Good vibrations. I was listening to the Beach Boys last week. I listened to that song 4 times in a row.
But yeah, it's just, I don't know, make your day cool. If little things interrupt it, that's okay too. I used to get so bent out of shape when things would change, and now I'm like, it's kind of cool. What can I do now with this? You just have to ride the flow, yo.
Mm-hmm.
Ride the
Make
flow.
that wave your own, man. Own that water.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny you talk about romanticizing life. I've been known several times over to romanticize death.
Really?
Not necessarily in the way that might sound at first, not in a morbid way, not in a bad, view it as an evil thing way, just as more of a graduation, death has such a stigma behind it that's run specifically by fear because we fear the unknown. So death is heavily attached to just this fear that everyone has. Nobody knows what's going to happen for sure, and you never can. But that's part of what makes it beautiful. I'd like to do a whole segment on this at some point in time. I can't dive deeply into it. But I think that could be a cool yin and yang. We'll talk more about this later.
Yeah.
But, when I first started asking myself how I felt about those kinds of things, I felt like it was good to be, that's just another form of more long-term self-awareness is understanding, your fears and your desires and, what you just haven't accomplished yet, things that really bother you and that you need to grab the reins of.
I'm interested to hear about, to talk more about that because you're going to be teaching me more about it because I've just now lately started thinking about it and I'm still at the stage where it makes me really uncomfortable to think about.
Well, the more textbook definition of being a spiritualist actually is very involved with experiencing death.
Absolutely.
And just having a relationship with it.
Well,
and
it's
not
even
seeing it so terribly.
I know that's the ultimate death, but what's interesting is the death of some of ourselves throughout life.
Oh, very interesting.
I know, I just came up with that.
Yeah, I like that.
That's pretty good.
So, all right, we definitely hit on self-awareness quite a bit and living in the moment, being kind of okay with where you're at.
Which kind of ties into just your progress on your journey too. We all have goals and things we want to accomplish. Me, I started therapy last year, I think February of 2020. Today was my last therapy session. Part ways because I lost my health insurance. Happens. Also, another part ways, it's because my therapist and I have agreed that, I'm at a really good standpoint. It's like when I went into my therapy sessions, I could sit there and have conversations with her and just talk to her and pick her brain about resources and stuff. It's at
cool
the point.
When you keep up with someone like that, right?
Yeah, it's just cool to know that I'm at a point where I didn't think I could be at last year. And I've learned how to work through a lot of my PTSD. I don't get triggered as much anymore. I still have those triggers. Those things are still a part of me and they still happen, but they're fewer and far in between and they don't take over my entire being. So that's something just really cool that happened to me today. Progress on your journey. That took me about 1.5 years, and that's okay. It may take people a little bit longer, and I honestly wish I could have stayed in therapy a little bit longer, but this is where I'm at right now, and, I'm going to figure it out from here on. And I have lots of resources. I have a really good support system in my life, and just be proud of yourself when you feel that progress on your journey, because it's really cool.
It's important to take those steps, to always be taking some kind of step. You can't look at it and just be terrified to even move because, the steps could be this, or the steps could be like that. And that's a lot more difficult of a step to take. That's why it's important to try to kind of just,
What's crazy too is once you take that step, I was terrified to quit my job of 4 years a couple months ago. I was terrified. I was like, I'm not going to know anything because this is all I've done. And now here I am 1.5 months out and I'm like, what was I so scared of? Because I feel I feel like I'm thriving. I feel like this is definitely the step that I needed. And I'm pretty much my own boss at this point. And it's just nice to have that freedom. Yeah. I just feel a whole nother level of myself being there and holding myself accountable for my money situations. I'm breaking my shopping addiction right now. I'm living only by what I need. And I put myself in this position. I have cut out excess because I've realized how much it was not helping me. Also eating over at a lot of my friends' houses. But it's fine because more family time.
Yeah, have lunch together. It's so cool. I love that more as an adult too. Just we can get some food, but cook together. I love that. I need to do that more.
For sure.
It's really neat. So here's a big cheers to just being where you're at. And oh man, I had a good one for this. I totally lost it. But loving where we're at and always making progress. And
yeah.
to you guys as well, thank you so much.
Thank you for watching, and thanks for being here with us on our journey.